Ladies and gentlemen, it is 9:03. It is Friday night. That means it's time for the best part of the week, Dino 101. If this is your first time at Dino 101, sincerely, thank you for coming. We're very excited you were here. If this is not your first time at Dino 101, welcome back, you fucking weirdos. Tonight, it is the Gar Man versus the Dino Man. Dr. Solomon R. David versus yours truly in a dad joke pun-off to determine, finally, ultimately, who will be crowned champion, Team Fish or Team Birds. I want to start off by saying we're not doing this to like shit on each other. We're not here to like throw too much shade at birds or at fish. We're going to poke fun a little bit, but really we're here to celebrate two of the greatest group of animals that have ever existed on this fair planet. There are a few other rules that we need to go over, especially if this is your first time. You may need to hear these, especially the drinking rules. So to do that, let me introduce my co-hostess, once again introduce my co-hostess with the mostest, a woman who's been coming out of her cave, and she's been doing just fine. So fine that she sent me a picture today of a van that said Cave Squad on the back. Ladies and gentlemen, Kristina Gustovich. Okay, all right.
Thank you. I wanted to show off my new sound system. It's my same phone. Welcome back. Welcome back to you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Couple of things. Obviously, you're on Zoom. If you don't want your face to be part of the recording, because Dustin did already hit record, you can turn off your video and your face will disappear. Just like that, everything tonight will be just as interactive as you want it to be. We'll be taking some sips. We'll be doing polls. We'll be doing games. Join us. It's all part of the fun. The biggest place to participate will be the chat. So if you have questions that come up, reactions, we love to see it there. We'll get to as many questions as you can. And if we don't right away, we will during question and answer time. All right, the rules you've all been waiting for, the drinking rules. First rule tonight, as usual, is birds, because birds are dinosaurs. But because we care about you, it's only if you hear something about birds. It's an audio clue, like a bird call, if you hear the word bird. Number two, as usual, a dad joke, a groany joke. This could be an audio or a visual dad joke. It counts if your friends say them in the chat. Pace yourselves. And finally, our third rule tonight, a visual clue. If you see on your screen the color pink.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. I like this. We had a visual clue. Yeah, we've had a couple visual.
We had a visual clue. This when you see the color pink. All right. Like Dustin said, tonight is a competition between birds and fish. And some of you all, you know how I feel about conflict. Okay, we're gonna have a fair fight. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We're gonna. What is the rule? Keep your elbow from crossing the table. We're gonna keep our hands visible. I don't know the rules of fighting, but we're gonna do it right. I am your referee tonight, your neutral ground between birds and fish. After each pair, bird versus fish, we'll take a poll to see where you're at. By the end, you need to commit to a side. Are you a bird person? Are you a fish person? But we'll check in along the way.
I think that bears repeating. I know a lot of people came in strong bird stands and strong fish stands. Your job, hopefully tonight, is to vote on who sold their case better tonight in this arena, the Zoom Punderdome, if you will. One night only. But first, I'm curious to know, like, oftentimes we have a lot of returning friendly faces. I'm curious to know how many times you guys have been to Dino 101. Is this your first time, 2 to 5 times, 6 to 10, or you've basically been here since the very, very beginning? Please vote now in our very first warm-up poll. Uh-oh, Dr. Corey Evans. I'm putting, wow. You brought the big guns to support you tonight, Dr. David. I see Ron Friel is here. Corey Evans is here. Oh, I hope we got a lot of bird stands. We'll see.
Well, this is Dino 101.
It is.
So, we have some inherently birdie people here. And we do have mostly returners so far, 38% of our audience. Dino time is a construct. But again, 18 of us first time. One of us.
All right. So we got a lot of returning friends. For the returning friends and for our brand new friends, every single Dino 101, we have a Dino of the day that, should you choose to, we task you to draw, render, either digitally, ink and paper, watercolor, whatever your medium. And at the end of our time together, we're gonna go around the Zoom, we're gonna hold up our ridiculous or maybe perfectly beautiful paleo art gallery. So tonight, Our very special dino of the day is one that I had to make sure I'm pronouncing correctly multiple times, Phorusrhacus. So Phorusrhacus is one of about 25 different terror birds that are now extinct. They went extinct, all of them by about 3 million years ago. So Phorusrhacus is your dino of the day. It is large, it is in charge, it ran up to 30 miles per hour. It probably used that pointy beak tip to stab into the braid case of anything bigger than like a little mammal like that guy. So Phorusrhacus is a terror bird. It is your dino of the day, but that is not your full prompt. Your prompt, because it is birds versus fish. I said birds, so drink. You need to render a terror bird and whatever you determine is a terror fish. They can be fighting, they can be friending, they can be playing, whatever. We need a terror bird and a terror fish, however you define that, however you want to render that in your drawing. I'm excited to see how these will end, or how these are going to turn out by the end. All right, enough messing around. Dr. Solomon R. David, are you ready to play, as a warm-up, everyone's favorite game?
Yeah, bring it on.
Okay, so this is everyone's favorite game. It is known as Dino or Not a Dino. Here's how this is going to work. I am going to read you the names of 10 different animals, some of which are real, actual dinosaurs, some of which we have totally made up. Your job, with the help of the chat, is to discern the real dinosaurs from the fake dinosaurs. If at any point you need a spelling, I'm happy to provide that. Now, normally there is a theme for the fake made-up ones, but tonight, not only is there a theme for the fake made-up dinosaurs, the actual ones have something in common as well. So if anyone in the chat can figure that out as we go, kudos to you. Here we go. 10 different animals, dino, not a dino. Animal number 1, sir, Megaraptor. Megaraptor.
I mean, it sounds terrifying, probably dead or fake, but
Okay.
Megaraptor. I'm gonna say sure, yeah.
You are correct. A lot of people in the chat immediately chimed in. Megaraptor is a dinosaur. Great start. You're 1 for 1. Animal number 2, Kenzodon. Kenzodon.
How much time do I have to come up with an answer? Like,
as long as it stays humorous.
all right, Kenzodon. I'm gonna say no.
That is also correct. You are now 2 for 2. Well done.
Like maybe
start.
Kenzodon, Kansodon, something like that. You know, it's all go multiple ways.
All right, number 3, Gargoylosaurus. Gargoylosaurus.
As much as I want that to be real, and it would be my favorite dinosaur if it were, I'm gonna say no.
Guess what, sir? That's a real dinosaur.
Nice. Well, I've got a new favorite dinosaur. Sorry to the T-Rex, I guess.
I didn't see really anyone in the chat helping out with that last one. Maybe,
I mean, that's tough.
yes.
Maybe 1 yes.
Maybe 1. All right, 2 and 1. Next, Numanzornis. Numanzornis.
I'm gonna go and say no.
That is, wow. I like the confidence, the quickness with these answers. That
Newman.
is correct.
I mean, come on.
That is correct. Okay, all right, 3 and 1. Next, Hungarosaurus. Hungarosaurus.
Hungarosaurus.
I'm happy to spell any of these if you.
Yeah, you know, why do you spell it? I wanna hear it.
Sure. Hungaro Saurus.
I'm gonna say
Hungarosaurus.
sure. It's got gar in it. I'm gonna say yes this time.
That you're correct. You're
Nice.
4 and 1. Doing great. Next, Bagaratin. Bagaratin.
Bagaratin. Can you spell that one too?
Yes, I can. B-A-G, like bag. So B-A-G-A-R-A-A-T-A-N. Bagaratin.
I'm gonna go and say yes.
People are in the chat have not been as helpful, but that is correct. That is a dinosaur. You're now 5 and 1. You're doing great. Next, Crafterix. Crafterix.
Crafterix. I'm gonna say no.
You're like, I don't even need the chat. I don't care what you think. I'm just gonna answer. Crafterix is not a dinosaur. You don't need anyone's help. You're 6 and 1. In the home stretch, Marzetiops.
Marzetiops. Sounds a little cheesy to me. I'm gonna say no.
That is correct. Wow. 7 and 1. 2 more. Gallimimus. Gallimimus.
It's I like the Gallimimus scene in Jurassic Park. I'm gonna go and say yes, that is a real one.
Wow, it is Gallimimus. All right, sir. If you get this last one, you get a 9 out of 10, which is the highest score anyone has ever received at Dino or Not a Dino. Before I give you, have you figured out the theme for any of these, or anyone in the chat figured out the theme for either the dinos or not dinos. Thus far, the actual dinos we have are Megaraptor, Gargoylosaurus, Hungarosaurus, and Bagaratin. Oh, and Garudaminus. Because the real dinosaurs, thus far, the not dinosaurs are Kenzodon, Numanzornis, Crafteryx, and Marzetiops.
Ooh, Corey says easy things to guess.
Wow, Corey.
I think I got it too. I did want to make a shout out to my wife, Casey David, who's on Dino 101 for the first time, but also brought me this refill. So it's a shout out to her.
For you.
Any thoughts on either of the themes? We have.
Oh, are you asking me? Am I supposed to?
Well, the chat has already weighed in.
I was going to say, so I'm answering now.
Sure, yes.
I mean, can we just finish it and then go to the theme?
Sure. The last dinosaur or not is Hidden Valleyinator.
Can you spell that?
Sure. HIDDENVALLEY Inator.
Definitely not a dinosaur.
That is not a dinosaur. Sir, you got 9 out of 10. You have won the game. Do you know what the theme for the not dinos was?
I believe the not dinos was, something cheese or dairy related. And then the pro dinosaurs seem to have gar in it.
You are 1000% correct. Kristina, should we give him the dairy, some sort of dairy angle? Is that what you think? Judges?
Oh, it certainly is dairy related. There's a specific dairy application.
I mean,
So wait, before you answer, remember, I know I'm from Ohio. You spend a lot of time in Ohio. You spend a lot of time in Michigan. We stand the Midwest hard here. Can you be any more specific with the theme, more than just like dairy?
Oh, I was going to say cheese.
So these are all right, I'm gonna give it to you. These are all companies that make ranch dressing.
Got it.
Ranch dressing brands.
It's, I'm not as familiar with them because these are all things I avoid because I am mostly lactose, intolerant. So That's why it stuck out to me. It's like, I'm not going to do Kraft. I'm not going to do, any of this other stuff. Yeah, Newman, that makes sense too. Yeah, got it.
Yeah. You were absolutely correct with the dinosaurs. All the actual real dinosaurs are real dinosaurs with the word gar in them, like Megaraptor, Gargoylosaurus.
That's amazing.
See, that's a real thing. It's a real ankylosaur. Even spikier, Hungarosaurus, that's a real one. Bagaratin's a real one. And last but not least, named for a Buddhist sacred bird, Garudaminus. Hell yeah.
That is so cool.
I did just say bird, so that is a drink.
Oh, that was our audio clue.
I didn't see, you know what? I didn't see any pink in these pictures, so I don't think we've had oh wait, there are pink arrows right there. That's another, we'll just call that one drink for all those pink arrows. We'll just call that one.
The chat noticed.
They're
not going to miss.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Listen, if you can't hold us accountable, who is going to?
There are no rules.
You know who might hold us accountable? Because we're talking about fish and birds tonight. This is one of my famous segues. It's mammals. Mammals might try to hold us accountable. So because we're going to talk all about fish and birds tonight, we want to give a little bit love to our mammalian brethren. They are doing the whole March Mammal Madness thing. But this is Dino 101, so we talk a lot about extinct species. We don't want you guys to have to vote on things that are live today. So we're curious to know, of these 4 very extinct, super dead mammals, Megatherium, which is giant ground sloth, Paradoxy, which is kind of like a manatee, Elasmotherium, that is the giantest, biggest unicorn ever, or Entelodon, yikes, that's like the feral pig guy. Which of these is your favorite extinct mammal? I'm opening the voting now.
Dustin,
yes.
I don't see anything for scale with these animals. Can you give us an estimate? Which of these would be the largest? I
believe Megatherium would be the large. Well, Elasmotherium is pretty big as well. I'm not sure. They're all. I'm not sure. You're right. We need more chapstick for scale.
We do. Don't worry. I have this one, and this one, and this one.
Yeah, we've got a lot of giant sloth fans. Dr. David, this is outside of your purview, but how would you vote?
Ooh. Man, I gotta go with the aquatic looking thing with the teeth. I'm gonna go with Paleoparadoxia.
I mean, by the name itself, that's a great name. There's one at the American Museum of Natural History. But it looks like Megatherium. People like our giant ground sloths, you goddamn millennials that know that you wouldn't have avocados if it wasn't for giant ground sloths.
Probably like side parts too. What's up?
Does this count as a side part? I think
I've been rocking a side part for 40 years, man.
Like I'm way ahead of the curve. All right, enough messing around. Let's get to this. We have lots of bad puns and dad jokes to get through. So again, the way this is going to work, we have a little pairing. We'll go back and forth. I'll do a bird. Dr. David will do Dr. David will do a fish. And then Kristina, you're going to launch the poll to see how people, see the climb into the room, see how people are feeling in the birds versus fish debate. I'm going to take one more drink and then we're going to get into it. Dr. David, when was the last time you were this nervous?
You know, I was probably more nervous than the Dino and not a Dino. I wanted to make this next round fun, so I decided not to study, which as a professor, I feel like goes against what we do. But, you know, I'm okay with it. Also, you can call me Solomon. I don't need to go by Dr. David. This is fun times.
Okay. Just Solomon, no doctor.
I appreciate it, but you know.
Okay, all right. You haven't earned tenure at Dino 101 yet. Maybe by the end.
It's either Solomon or Garzar. I'll take either one.
Ooh, Garzar is real good. How come I like Garzar? All right, Garzar, you ready to get into this?
Let's do it.
I think you're ready to do this. All right. Oh wait, I'm out of order. There we go. So here's how this works. I'm gonna do a bird. You're gonna do a fish. So we're gonna do a quick little vote. It was really tough. I don't know if it was tough for you, but it's very hard for me to be like, I have to pick 5 birds that I can talk about. So there's a lot that I really love that have been left off this list. We'd love to hear in the chat like some of your favorite birds and fish as we go. But you know what I'm going to start with? I'm going to start with a group of animals that I have, a type of bird that I don't want to say shit talked online, but like they spend a lot of time in water. And for my money, that makes them dangerously close to fish. And I'm not sure if they can be trusted. But I will give them some props because some of their extinct ancestors were enormous. Like this giant extinct, yeah. So the thing I want to point out about this is that I was looking for, yeah, it's a giant penguin. Yes, everyone is reacting in a very funny way. Why did they have to make sure it was a British man? You're gonna put a person for scale, but it has to be a British man. It can't be anyone but a British guy. That's not who we're here to talk about, though. I had to pick one species of penguin that I was gonna talk about, and so I wanted to go with the Macaroni Penguin. This is the Macaroni Penguin with. I mean, he just wants to give you a hug. I love this guy. So by the way, there are about 17 to 20 different distinct species of penguin alive today. The Macaroni penguin lives in enormous colonies, though, which is relatively unheard of for penguins. We're talking 100,000 individuals per colony, even though they are technically vulnerable as far as their conservation status goes. But maybe that is only because of climate change. Maybe that is because of marine pollution. Maybe that is because millions and millions of school children turn them into macaroni necklaces. I'm not really sure. That is my first bird, the Macaroni Penguin. Sir, I had a hard time trying to pair these up. So there's not really any connection between a Macaroni Penguin and your first species, the African tigerfish. Why did you choose this one?
I chose this one because the African tigerfish was one of the first documented cases of avivory, which means eating birds, but eating birds while they're in flight. So they looked at a population of African tigerfish, and they have adapted to being cut off from their typical food for a fish to feeding on swallows. So they've learned to correct for the refraction water, and they will leap out of the water and take swallows, not just some slow ass bird that's just flapping around. You've seen swallows, you know they're quick, so they can take them right out of the sky. It's an impressive fish. Also, penguins, I mean, flightless birds kind of, you know, if you can see the poop from the, from the air, I'd say more like flightless turds if you really want to get at it. But, you know, same thing could be said for fish in their coral reefs.
Yeah, but can the African tigerfish survive on land as well? Because, I mean, at least the penguin, it can go, it's surf and turf.
It cannot, but you know what? I wasn't in charge of the pairing here. I would have paired it up a little differently, my friend.
Okay, you know what? Listen, I drew the bracket at random. Isn't that right? Isn't that right, referee Kristina?
Yeah, it's time for Garch Madness.
Wow, that's
nice. I like that.
I will take a drink to that, and I will launch our first poll. Round 1, just generally speaking, we're getting the ball rolling. How do you feel thus far tonight? If the election were held right now, are you voting Team Birds or Team Fish?
From Team Birds, we saw penguins who live in colonies. We had macaroni penguins. We had tigerfish who literally swallow swallows. Where are you at right now?
Ooh, slight lead for birds. Okay, that's fair.
Penguins are cool. And I think some people detected some hints of pink on their beaks, so maybe that's why they're a little bit partial to the penguins at this time.
You know what? Garzar, I'm gonna let you be the judge here. Is that pink near its beak there?
I guess so. I mean, the fact that you open with penguins are the birds that I dislike the most. So I think you and I actually have something in common, that you're suspect and I am also very suspect. So
this
I
is
look at that as a diplomatic sort of win there.
This is a debate strategy known as tip of the hat. So thank you, the 1/4 of debate I took in college. It looks like right now, wow, really close vote though. We're at 52-48. This is going to be a good evening. We'll see how that changes as we continue to go. All right. I went first the first round, or that round. So I want you to go first this round, sir. Another specifically African fish, a very cool looking one. This is the African lungfish. Take it away, sir.
Ooh, the African lungfish. I'd say that, although an unsung fish, among fish, the lungfish practices estivation, which is the best evation of nature. They can go dormant for 7 years. They've got the largest genome that we know, and no bird can top that. I had to take a breath after that.
Is this them as well? This is the same.
It is them.
Okay. And can you explain to me why in a back and forth, we want people to come onto your side, you would send me a picture like this to share?
So they've got tooth plates that they use to crush prey before it goes down into their digestive systems. They actually crush prey, spit it out, suck it back in, spit it out. So, and those tooth plates, fossilize really well. So we know that lungfish is one of the oldest groups of fishes. They're actually part of the next branch before tetrapods. So they're actually, on the same sort of larger branch of the evolutionary tree as birds are and the rest of tetrapods. So really, I'll get to that take-home message later, but they can also go dormant for a long period of time. They breathe air, they can slither on land. And again, they can go dormant for over 7 years. You just add water, they come back.
When you say dormant, what does that mean? Is it like, is it similar to hibernation? Like, what does that mean when you say dormant for a fish?
Yeah, so estivation is sort of like hibernation, only it's during periods of drought. So they surround themselves in a mucus cocoon and they just slow their metabolism down.
Mucus cocoon.
And as the lungfish name, indicates, they can also breathe air. So it's not just the little gill stuff that other fish do.
All right. That's pretty cool.
And they've got the largest genome of any animal that we know.
Do you say the lowest MSG?
If you add enough salt, they have, quite a bit. They have the largest genome of any animal that we know of.
It's like, how you have to eat every animal on the planet to figure out this is the lowest MSG. We should start that as a rumor. Anyway, all right. No, that's a good entry. I didn't know about most of that stuff. Speaking of knowing about stuff, you know what bird knows a lot of stuff? It is the crow, because they are some of the smartest brain to body ratio. As far as brain to body ratio goes, the smartest group of birds. I had to show returning champion Kaylee Swift, crow and corvid expert here, because I asked her, I was like, why do you love corvids? Why do you study crows? And she said they're basically flying monkeys, except for they don't lactate, which is fair. Because again, they are some of the smartest birds alive on the planet today. They've been shown to use tools. They form elaborate social hierarchies. They engage in games such as Follow the Leader and King of the Mountain. And some corvid species like crows, oh, by the way, have you guys seen this study? Or this where they would actually drop those things in the water to raise the water level to be able to get the snack that was floating at the top. There's a certain species of crow in Japan that has figured out that if it drops nuts on crosswalks and then comes and waits for cars to go by, they crush the nuts, then they can go out once they have a walk sign to grab their food. That is incredibly bonkers to me. And many of you may know that crows practice what kind of amounts to a funeral. This may be where we get the term a murder of crows, but technically that only applies if there's probable cause.
That was so bad. It was good, but it was bad.
Anyway, so that's why I like crows. All right, Kristina, anything from the judges column before we launch the next poll?
Well, to recap, from Team Birds, we saw crows, who are your social media influencers and the coolest kids at the funeral. Lungfish, my favorite fun fact was that they suck in prey spit it back out, and go through this whole cycle and practice whatever estivation is. I don't know. It sounds private.
It sounds private. You know what else is private? Oh, I didn't mean to show that. You know what else is private, Kristina? How you vote in our second poll. Same thing. We need to know if you've been swayed at all. This is like, leading up to a major political election, they have all this exit.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of crow fans out there, but you can't dry out a crow for 7 years and expect it to come back. But a lungfish can do that.
That's fair.
I don't care how smart you are. You're not going to outthink, death in that way.
I feel like we're veering into a migration versus hibernation type of thing. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but like the mood is similar.
So coming out of our last poll, birds took it with 52% of the vote. Team Birds is pulling ahead right now. It's 55%. It's now 55-45% split. Team Fish, you're going to need to convince these people. If you want to tip this in your favor. I see some boos in the chat. Team Fish, maybe a smaller percentage, but they are vocal.
All right. Round 3. You went first last time. It's my turn. Here we go. You guys, it's the Sky Lamborghini. It's the fastest animal on the planet. It's my friend, your favorite, or my favorite, maybe your friend, the Peregrine Falcon. Again, 240 miles per hour. That is bonkers, but that's not even what I would believe to be their most, their coolest adaptation. So Peregrine Falcons have binocular vision, and it helps them to be able to detect discrete movements 5 times better than the human eye. So I wrote this down because I want to get this right. So when you view a video, your eyes need to see about 24 individual frames per second before the screen appears as like a fluid moving picture, rather than just emotionless stills appearing back to back to back to back. Peregrine Falcon eyes, however, necessitate 129 frames per second before a distinct images appear as fluid motion. And so this means that not only is the Peregrine Falcon the swiftest moving animal on Earth, it also boasts the fastest visual processing speed of any animal on the planet. I mean, talk about death from above. I am legitimately a little bit scared of these guys. And I do have, by the way, a whole list of Peregrine jokes. But you know what? They're none of your Falcon business.
That was pretty ducking bad.
I regret nothing. Chris, you okay, Kristina?
Yep.
No. I like this. I feel like this is a good pairing because from the fastest animal on the planet to something that has a totally different superpower, the electric eel.
There we go. I mean, who needs to be fast when you can literally use electricity to stun your prey and bring them out of hiding? Like, it was discovered a few years ago that they can actually use something like literally the force to, bring out their prey from hiding and shock them, and stun them and basically consume them. So the electric eel, not even a true eel, it's a type of knife fish. They got 3 electric organs of of different sizes. We don't even know what the third one does. It's actually the middle one. And so they use that for navigating through areas that are turbid water. They've got enough power to knock down a horse. So again, you don't really need to go at 200 miles an hour if you can bring the prey to you. Also, they hunt in packs, which was recently discovered, coordinated behavior of attack pattern with electricity. The battle cry of a school of electric eels, charge.
Yo, that is legitimately scary as shit. Like a pack of electric eels, like, wow. 10-year-old me is not happy about this at all.
I was pretty amped to learn all about this, really.
Yeah. Whew. All right, Kristina, give us the rundown before this next poll.
All right, we had a Peregrine Falcon who is an optometrist nightmare, the fastest visual processing who uses a third organ that nobody knows what to do with, or according to Rachel in the chat, what to do with.
What?
It's an electric organ.
Just in the chat real fast, Sarah Charlton said the Princess Bride has scared me off eels for my entire life. I feel exactly the same way. I've never exactly the same way. Thank you for mentioning that.
I mean, they come in a pack. It's a battery pack.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
Apparently low
MSG. Just get one eel. It's got to be a pack of eels. It's how it goes.
All right. I wonder if most people, like, when they hear outside of like this room, I wonder if people hear eel, they think it's a type of fish or if it's like something else. Is that something you deal with, or are people like, that's not a fish, that's something else?
If they hear eel,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, eel is so broad. I mean, there's things that we call eels that aren't really eels, so it's yeah.
Wait a minute. What is going on with this vote right now? We have a huge sea change. How did this happen?
I mean, the Peregrine Falcon's like the flagship. I don't know.
I know. Wow. All right. Wow. Okay.
This really is a sea change in favor of fish.
Maybe-
Team birds last time took it with 55-45 split, but now, we have, with 88% voter turnout, Team Fish took the lead with 59% of the vote.
I think we have a lot of anti-industrialization and military people here, maybe, and so like this equation here maybe threw people off. I don't know.
I mean, eels hunt with an EMP. I don't think that's anti-military. I feel like that's the same.
All our best military ideas come from animals, which was the thing that I said in this joke, but now that I'm thinking about it, that's not wrong.
I went to a whole talk on this. It's true. There are researchers who are like, oh man, somebody's gonna know this in the chat. Biomimicry in the vehicles they make for war. It's a whole thing.
The whole thing.
Constantly bio-inspired armor or garmer, depending on who you're talking about.
Like Garmer. All right, Garzar, it is time for everyone. Kristina, I'll see you in a second. I'll bring you back in a second. But it is time for everyone's second favorite game. This is a game whose name is a little bit long, so sir, please pay attention. This is the M draws in front of everyone while the guestbert, that's you, Solomon, attempts to figure out what guestbert-related topic, word, or phrase M is attempting to digitally render whiteboard challenge. Who is M, you ask? Well, M is a Dino 101 regular who has a passion for graphic design and is going to bring up her whiteboard right now. There are 3 rounds. I have private messaged M the 3 different clues. We'll take this round by round. See if you can figure out what she is attempting to draw with the help of those in the chat. M, first of all, where are you once again?
I am in Cincinnati, Ohio.
You were drinking
I'm drinking a spaghetti.
Which is?
It's Aperol, lemon juice, and a beer.
You are classy. We wouldn't have it any other way. Take it away whenever you are ready. Please guess in the chat or give help to Solomon in the chat.
This is a dinosaur, right? That's what I'm guessing?
No, these are not dinosaurs. These have more to do with you, sir.
Oh, okay.
Dinosaurs.
I'm looking at a book. Looks like a book or a rectangular butterfly right now.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. All right.
It's a can of beans.
Maybe something on the book. It's been so long since I've read a book. I barely even understand what they are anymore. A book of gar puns. An unhappy cinnamon toast crunch. Is there shrimp involved? What's happening right now?
Good guess, but no.
I feed my gars shrimp, not cinnamon toast crunch. It's a book. Oh my gosh, what is going on? Secret of Nim? Is this rats? What's happening right now? A koala reading. There's no gars in Australia, so I don't really know what's happening right now.
What if instead of a book, it's a different type of reading medium?
Publication.
Yeah.
A publication. It's a journal.
Yeah.
That I'm reading. Is that what it is? It's a journal.
Is it maybe?
A comic book, maybe?
Some people in the chat have nailed it.
It looks, ma'am. Oh, Red Rocket. Let's see. Play Mouse. Ranger Rick.
It's right there.
Nice. I love it. Great. Yeah, I forgot about the chat. I am so sorry, everybody. I need to pay attention to the at-home audience. I was like focusing on. Yeah, I love it. Ranger Rick.
By the way, Emma, I'm gonna take this back for 1 sec. So we did Ranger Rick because you sent me these images. Can you give us like the quick, what's the deal with, why'd you send me this picture and why did I have Ranger Rick be one of the clues for the whiteboard challenge?
Sure. So Ranger Rick is a kids magazine that is put out by the National Wildlife Federation. It's been around for over 50 years now. Ranger Rick is what introduced me to gars as a kid. So it was a back issue. It was an old issue from 1983. Introduced me to gars for the first time. And I got interested in them. And, recently, about a year ago, I was able to actually write a new garticle, if you will, for Ranger Rick. And it was probably my first exposure to birds versus fish. Like, look at this. Even if it wasn't successful. And I will throw out that I do like wood ducks, but I'm more for gars eating wood ducks than, anything else. So.
Okay, that's fair.
I appreciate that out there, and thank you very much.
Good round. Yeah, the chat is definitely your friend for both of these next rounds. Okay, Em, take it away. Round 2. The points are quintupled. Sure.
Whew.
Big round.
I know.
Round 2.
Important round.
Oh, there's another. Oh man.
Is that a green cloud
Something
that's crying?
dripping. It looks like Slimer. He's already, is this a Gar dripping slime? Maybe it's
Yeah,
a lot
you
of slime.
already got it. You got it. Yeah. Well, technically, the clue was slimy. Why would we have slimy be a clue?
There's hagfish and then there's Gars, which produce a gargantuan amount of slime. We don't exactly know why, but dead Gars even produce more slime than living Gars. It is so much slime. My grad students, I think some of them are joining today. Shout out to Audrey and Derek. We were doing some dissections. You just pick them up after they've been on the table. It just drips. So if anyone has any ideas for using Gar slime as stuff, we're all for it.
Okay, I think you're the Gar man. You should bottle that and sell it. It can be like
it is really good for your skin, is what we found.
Listen, Gar slime tinctures, like CBD infused Gar slime tinctures, that would crush. That would crush. All right, M doesn't seem as enthusiastic about the design, but that's fine. Are you? Oh, she's already started round 3. Round 3's
moving along. Right on.
I am over these fish bugs.
I mean, circular goes up, down, and around. Let's see. Oh, Jurassic Park, maybe.
All right.
Love it. Oh, only with a dolphin maybe right now. So I didn't give her a chance to finish it. So
yeah, please, M, finish Jurassic Park.
Oh God.
I forgot to have an actual image of it so we could show it side by side with M's rendering. Crap.
It's gonna be the same.
Kristina, can you find the Jurassic Park image to share?
And send it on the screen.
Just like we can just share your screen once you have it.
Okay.
And it is beautiful. So also wait, Kristina, I think you had a question for Solomon about this, didn't you?
I do have a question, Solomon, just for like marketing purposes. Is there a reason you went with Jurassic Park instead of Jurassic Gark?
Yeah, because there's no such thing as a Gark. I mean, come on, as much as I'd like there to be, I'd rather there was a Gar Park than a whatever Gark. I mean, that's more for my Indiana Jones sequel, the Gark of the Covenant. So I got to save some of these, Kristina.
Oh, that's very good.
I've got a lot of these held up in the archives. I just can't reveal all of them.
Okay. Thank you so much. You crushed it per usual.
Yes, thank you. These are amazing.
Wait, here. If you want to see, I'm going to bring Dr. John Friel just real quick. The background, that's the Jurassic Park.
Oh, you got it?
John, representing Team Fish. Fish and Lines did this literally in less than 24 hours. I sketched it on a Post-it note. I said, I want to see this. And he made it happen. And it was specifically for Dino 101. Like, I wanted this for years, and he put it together.
We also wanted to just mention it because one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on Dino 101, other than the fact that you're really fun to talk to, you know a lot about different fish, and you are the pun master, is because Gar first evolved about 150 million years ago in the Jurassic period. And it's interesting that it was about that long ago because that's at just about the same time we see bird-like dinos like Archaeopteryx, literally nicknamed the first bird, to start to evolve as well. So like your study species and birds in general kind of got that started about the same time. And who would have thought 150 million years later, it would end in this zoo room right now.
Exactly. It was destiny, Dustin.
It was destiny.
Yeah.
All right. We have 2 more rounds to go through. Kristina, should we gauge the audience, see where people are at right now before we go into the next one?
Let's just do a quick check-in because the last time we did check-in, Fish took the lead with 59% of the vote. I just want to know, have people been marinating on this? Maybe you were swayed by the beautiful Jurassic Gark logo. I'm sorry, you worked very hard on Jurassic Park. If the election were held right now, I would vote. I want to commend our competitors. It has been a clean fight so far. There have been no insults. What?
I can't help but think that maybe all the fish people just showed up late and they missed the first poll. And now we're starting to get, I don't know. Are fish people like notoriously late? Is that a stereotype about fish people?
coming out of estivation. Maybe, you know, the water, there's more resistance in water, Dustin, than there is in air. You can fly somewhere much faster than you can boat somewhere.
Okay, all right. I mean, I guess that's technically.
That's physics, my friend.
It's physics. Listen, that's not a science we discuss here.
I'm with you on that. Sounds good. No chemistry either.
Oh boy. All right.
It looks like all that estivation has paid off because the fish are now in the lead by even more with 60% of the vote.
You guys are fashionably late.
I like that.
That's good, Corey. Good. No, that's all Corey. That was a good one. All right. Here we go. We got 2 more rounds. Let's see. We have, all right, sir, do you want to start us off? You want me to go first in this second to last round?
Why don't, you know what? Sure. Why don't you start off both of these rounds?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Let's just make it interesting. That's fine.
Okay.
I'm here for the fun.
Fine. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to discuss literally, quite literally, no jokes, no hyperbole, the smallest dinosaur to ever exist. The bee hummingbird. I'm not just talking about hummingbirds. I'm talking about the bee hummingbird. Look at this cute little boy with his beautiful iridescence. So this is the bee hummingbird. That is a very small hummingbird. That person's skin looks relatively pink. So I'm going to go ahead and drink to that. There are more than 325 species of hummingbird alive today. The smallest group of dinosaurs ever lived. I said that. But what they lack in size, they make up with absolutely bonkers adaptations. So nearly a third of their body weight is in their chest muscles, right? And with the help of heartbeats that approach 1,300 beats per minute, 1,300 beats per minute, hummingbirds are capable of flapping their wings about 80 times per second. The energy required for this is born from the greatest metabolic rate of any warm-blooded animal. Any. Now, that's one wild thing. The other wild thing is their tongues. Their tongues are bonkers, and they go back behind, wrap around their entire head. Have you ever looked at hummingbird or woodpecker skull anatomy, Solomon?
I have. You know, I like the ones that have the beaks with a lot of the pseudo teeth.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah. That's another point for hummingbirds. A lot of them have very, very like little sharp barbs all over their teeth. That is true.
Well, I can decide when the points go to the hummingbirds, Dustin.
Sorry. I am sorry. Listen, they're hummingbirds, their hearts are incredible. So I just want you to remember the next time that you hear things that make you go, by CNC Music Factory, remember, it's about birds, hummingbirds specifically, and their hearts. That's what that song is about. Did you know that this 90s classic CNC Music Factory song, Things That Make You Go, is about hummingbirds? Did anyone else know that? Is that just me? Am I the only one who knew that?
No, nobody seemed to be aware of that.
We know it now.
You come to Dino 101 to learn new things. That's why we come here. Speaking of new things, I'm really glad this isn't really that new, but I'm glad you chose the fish you chose here. Sir, take it away with respect to the anglerfish.
So, it's awesome that they've got, hummingbirds have this fast metabolism for all warm-blooded animals. But when you live in the depths of the sea, you don't want a fast metabolism. You know why? Because you are dead. You are dead in the depths. The anglerfish lives in some of the greatest depths of the sea. They create their own light. If anyone follows on Twitter, they saw that, Dustin said birds, fish don't hold a candle to birds, but fish literally are candles like the anglerfish. They produce their own light. Not only that, it was in the New York Times recently that anglerfish have overcome an evolutionary adaptation in terms of their immune systems to allow the male anglerfish, when it finds a female, it latches on, its mouth dissolves, and their immune systems and all other anatomy becomes one, and they move on from there, because you never know where you're going to encounter a mate down in those depths. So when you do, you latch on literally for dear life, and other animals just don't do that. They've also got these giant mouths, so they can also eat anything that comes their way. So there is no more perfect or maybe unholy union than the anglerfish.
I like that the anglerfish females just turn the males into like portable sperm purses.
I mean,
it's like, whenever I'm going to need you, I'm going to take you. We're just going to hang out. I like that. Kristina, are there any other animals you know of in the animal kingdom that carry around sperm purses?
Sperm purses? No, I'm racking my mind now for a portable latch-on sperm purse, and I can't think of one.
Portable latch-on sperm purse. All right, so we just had the anglerfish and the bee hummingbird. I will say, I'll give a shout to the anglerfish. I was forced to defend fish in a battle against birds, and I chose to use the anglerfish as my representative species because of all the things you just said.
I want to find a recording of that. I want to see Dustin defending fish, and then I want to just amplify that out there.
I believe it was Sun Tzu who said, in order to beat your enemy, I don't know what he said, but it was something about know your enemy, beat your enemy. I don't know.
That was in the Gart of War, if you will.
All right, you're crushing it. I feel like we've just all been continuously drinking this whole time.
We don't quit. All right, we saw
Toby and Jenna. Art of Gar also works there, so
it's very good.
We saw the bee hummingbird. It's small with pecks and a metabolism, and everybody in the chat wants to know what that tongue do. Then we saw the anglerfish, and man, I thought I had attachment issues, but we learned about the portable sperm purse. Who's it gonna be?
So wait, before we do this, we should mention people want to know what that tongue do, and also someone in the chat has brought up the thing that we are contractually obligated to speak about every single Dino 101. Kristina Gustovich, could you please enlighten us with respect to the sauropod sex legs?
Yes, this is why I got my teacher certification. Okay, so a sex leg, let me tell you, a singular paleontologist had the idea that gigantic sauropods, so the long necks, must have had to have reproduced in the water, otherwise they would have crushed each other's bones in this process. So this must have taken place at a specific location called a sex lake, named that by us. Yeah. It probably didn't happen, but we weren't there to see.
We don't know. Dinosaur science is greatest enigma. I do like Ryan in the chat saying it should be like finish your drink or chug for sex lakes, but we're not telling you what to do. All right, this is our second to last poll. This is like trying to figure out right before the final election, the final push. Oh wait, that's not it. Sorry. That's also not it. Here we go. Second to last vote. How are you feeling before this last, basically closing arguments? Uh-oh, we have a lot of bird fans now.
I mean,
very fickle audience.
That's tight.
This is very tight. I feel like they're doing this on purpose. They're building the suspense.
They're just trying to make us sweat.
Kristina, I think this is probably a good time to shout out our sponsor for tonight, Dominion Voting Systems. Right.
Aren't they set to come into about $1 billion from a certain network sometime soon?
Yeah, we get very high level donors here. All right, so we're back into the Team Bird slightly beating out Team Fish. This is gonna be interesting going to the home stretch. I will drink one more time to that because that was bird. Now we have two more animals left, one fish, one bird. Now I know one is, I'm not gonna preface it. We're just gonna get into it. Do you wanna go first? You want me to go first?
Wait, so we have how many animals left? We've got two more?
We've done 4 birds and 4 fish.
Yeah, and we're doing a total of 5, right?
Each of us, yes.
Okay.
Carry the 2, add, that's 10 total.
Let's let you go first. That's fine.
Okay. All right. Now, we did an entire episode on this group of birds, and so obviously had to be represented tonight. Some of my absolute favorites and some of the most beautiful and stealthy animals on the planet. I'm going with the snowy owl, not just owls in general, the snowy owl. Look at those eyeballs. This thing is death from above. Let me get my notes about the snowy owl. Here we go. So one of the things I love about owls that a lot of people aren't necessarily familiar with is that the edges of their flight feathers are tipped with dozens of tiny little serrations. Like we talk a lot here about how T-Rex teeth had tiny serrations, which obviously is really scary. But I think this ultimately is even scarier. So if you have flight feathers that are tipped with dozens of tiny serrations, what this does is it increases the aerodynamism so that it literally mutes the owl's flight. So its wings make no sound as it approaches, basically turning into death from above from whatever unfortunate, usually mammal species. I will say this is not a specific type of owl, like for instance, the Blackiston's fish owl. I could have picked the fish owl, but he's almost exclusively fish, but I didn't as a sign of solidarity. So you guys probably know they have great vision. I love the fact that their ears, owl ears, not just snowy owls, but almost all owl ears are asymmetrical, which allows them to hear the sounds from the prey from slightly different angles. so they can turn their head to the point that the sounds are entering both ears at exactly the same time, and that directs them exactly to where the prey is. Game over. Game over for whatever they're trying to hunt. But perhaps most importantly, have you ever, this is a question for anyone here, has anyone here ever held a baby owl? Has anyone ever held a baby owl?
No.
No.
Let's see in the chat, have you ever been so blessed?
No one, no, cannot, sadly, no. So one of my favorite work trips ever, I was at the Buffalo Bill Center of the West. It's way out in Cody, Wyoming, and they have a couple owls that live there. And I was actually able to hold a baby owl. And the coolest thing about holding a baby owl is not just that I got to give it a baby, not that I got to hold a baby owl, is that I literally got to give a baby owl a bath. And the cool thing about it is not only does it get the owl clean, but you get your fingers clean too, because you've been rubbing them with a moist owlet. You've been rubbing your hands.
I heard my wife laugh in the other room. That makes you feel better.
Is that, wait, hold on. This is the reaction I was expecting to get. This from the snowy owl, a moist owlet. Any, no? Also, that's a pink mouth. I will drink to that. That's Kristina, did you enjoy that joke? Did part of you die? How are you feeling?
Okay, yeah, I just have a couple notes. I do have to take away 2 sportsmanship points for you. Because you talked about the mean thing you could have done, but you didn't do in the cheating owl.
That's fair.
You know, wow, here's a cookie.
Yeah.
Okay. And you really took us down a long, long path for a pretty groany dad joke. So, you know, we are on a tight schedule.
That's true. That's true. All right. Last but not least, an organism near and dear to your heart that you've studied, that have a lot of pictures. You sent me pictures of you holding it, so I know you spent a ton of time with this animal. This is the alligator gar, sir. I like how you describe these 2 different pictures. Can you tell everyone how you describe these?
Yeah, so, you know, when people say that gars look fierce because they got all the teeth and the long snout, they look like alligators with fins instead of legs, which evolutionarily speaking, we should be calling alligators gars with legs instead of fins because gars came first. But you look at that left-hand picture, it looks very derpy. That's the less intimidating version. If you look at them with the mouth open, a little bit more intimidating, but, you know, don't be intimidated by gars. If you look at them head on, it's a little bit less so, but you know, lots of teeth. Who needs serrated feathers when you've got teeth like this? Also, the reinforcement on their fins and their scales, they have impenetrable armor, or garmor, if you will. For 150 million years, gars have remained relatively unchanged. That means birds have been doing their things, you know, theropods, of course, most of them died out, but gars have remained about the same. They're air breathing, so they can handle the air, they can handle, you know, being in the water. They've got, again, these armored scales. We're actually studying gars for biomedical research to understand human disease and evolution. We're not doing that with owls. And there is no owl that's going to take out a gar, you know, from death from above. The slime's going to just let that slough off. Also, gar eggs, toxic to birds. They're going to kill herons, egrets, you know, any of that sort of stuff. They're not toxic to other fish. They don't want to mess with their own. They're out there to get the birds.
Okay, so we got toxic eggs, or an animal that just so happens to show up in Central Park, and it causes huge flurry with birders and on the news because people can't wait to see it. Okay, all right. Kristina, you want to give us the rundown before we do our final vote?
All right, so we saw the snowy owl who is death from above while being, I think, beautiful and glamorous, and gave us the gift of that pink mouth. And we have an alligator gar, the gar we've all been waiting for, with almost too many teeth, but came in, you know, right up to regulation. With
and to bring the visual
literal
too.
toxic
So, you know,
traits.
this is what we're working with here. So that skull's about 2 feet long. The fish gets up to 9 feet long-ish.
Oh, everyone, it looks like we're about to have an impromptu prop off.
Yeah, well, these are feathers, which last time I checked came from a number of different species of birds. So, just saying.
You can tickle somebody with the feathers, but it doesn't work the same way with the gar skull, Dustin. Just throwing that out there for you.
Has anyone ever made out of gar scales a garter belt?
Belts, actually, Native Americans used to use them as literal garmer and arrowheads for arrows. And, you know, they use them for jewelry too. A lot of people use them for jewelry now. So all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
That's your audio aid there.
Chris, go ahead. Kristina, were you going to say something?
No, my jaw was just literally dropping it at the prop off. I was going to give you one of your sportsmanship points back for so gracefully entering this prop off.
Okay. I don't know if is Jada here? Is Jada in this room? Jada's not here tonight. Well, this is one picture that you shared with me that I just want to know why you shared it with me. Is it because they're a gar in a tank with sharks and that makes them cool? Like Jada's so mad that we're talking about sharks without her here.
Yeah, they're euryhalians, so they can live in salt water. You can see gars with sharks, sea turtles, all of your favorite marine friends.
Okay.
And they're in freshwater.
Okay. All right. So Kristina, here's my question for you. Should we do some Q&A and the gallery, and then the very last thing? I think the very last thing we should do is the bird versus fish vote. Is that right?
I think so. And I think maybe the answers to some of these questions could sway the vote. So.
Oh, that is true. That is true. Ooh. So Kristina, I know you've been fielding these questions. Hit the Garzar with all the questions.
Should I have not been drinking this entire time? I feel like I should have been on the ball with all these surprise questions.
It's not a quiz. It's a celebration of knowledge.
That's what I told my students.
Yeah, same. And if you haven't gotten your hot gar questions to me yet, you can send them in the chat about anything that you've seen tonight or anything you want to send to Solomon. All right. So we were all horrified and delighted by the lungfish. Mm-hmm. How long can its mucus cocoon sustain it?
So far, we know that it's at least 7 years. In the wild, it's not that long it doesn't have to be that long because the water comes back more frequently, but at least 7 years. So they hydrate those lungfish and they bounce back. That's actually my pet lungfish from grad school. We would feed it at parties. It was a big deal.
Hey, can we do a quick pause since you brought up parties? You know, it's getting warmer outside. People are getting vaccinated. It's about to be summer party season. Kristina and I, we think of Dino 101 as a big party. And in fact, there is an after party after this, which is completely unrelated to Atlas Obscura. If you would like to come, you can slide into my DM on Instagram or Twitter for the link. But we do have a poll with respect to parties. It's about to be summer party season. Which type of party are you most looking forward to? Is it a dinner party, a cocktail party, a pizza party, an ice cream party, or the Donner party? Please vote now.
I saw some pearl clutching in the. I'm sorry that it's too soon for the Donner party. You know, yeah, we're interacting with humans again.
I'm personally insulted that there was no after Gardy. I mean, come on, it was right there.
That's you can introduce the.
I did.
The completely optional.
Justice Kristina is what I'm going to say. You know, since you're the judicial precedence over this.
All you.
Kristina, you insisted Donner Party was an option, and it almost won.
Yeah, I think some of us are coming out of this a little more misanthropic. I understand.
That's fair. All right, what other questions we got?
Okay, is it true that scientists don't actually know how eels reproduce?
We know generally how they reproduce. It's not exactly where. So we know it's the Sargasso Sea, but we don't know where in the Sargasso Sea. All the eels, all the American eels and all the European eels go from Europe and the Americas, and they flock to the same place, swim to the same place. I'm using bird migratory patterns, to the Sargasso Sea, and that's where they spawn. But we don't know exactly where in the Sargasso Sea. They've only recently, in the past maybe 8 years, used telemetry to figure out exactly or relatively where. But yeah, eels, as much as we love to eat them, we still know very little about their reproductive behavior. Bizarre. And their blood is toxic, which is why when you eat eel sushi, it is cooked.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I didn't know that we didn't know. I always love finding something like that. Somebody suggested in the chat it could be a sex sea. They've left the lake.
Eels spawn in the sex sea. Gars spawn in the Gargasso Sea.
Takes a sip for himself. What is the oldest gar you have come across?
The oldest gar I've come across. That is hard to say because as technology has increased, we are able to estimate the ages more. but we know that alligator gars can live for over 100 years. That gar skull that I held up, it was estimated to be about 48 years old. But with new technology, we're finding that our age estimates are off by maybe as much as a decade, maybe more. So even the smallest gars, I've got all 7 species behind me right now. And so different age variations there in longevity, but as technology increases, we're learning more and more about these fish. They can live for a long time.
I just keep falling more in love with this bizarre animal. Not more or less than dinos or birds. You know this about me. Just wanted to say.
I'm glad this is recorded. Thank you, Kristina. Yeah, for that.
You know what? You can get creative with editing, but we all know the truth. Okay. Em wants to know about the show River Monsters. Is this good show? Is this bad show? Do we like it? Does it do a good job?
I've talked about this on your first guest of the year, Allie Ward's Ologies. So if you haven't checked out Garology, there's a whole episode about gars. I like River Monsters for the SciComm aspect of it. It brings to light a lot about fish that a lot of people didn't know. And as far as gars go, they were not found guilty of the crime that was committed. So I think it brings to light a lot of stuff. It's very sensationalized and all that sort of garbage, but net effect, I think, is positive and celebrating biodiversity as we hope to do with this birds versus fish thing.
Way to bring it back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Innocent until proven garlty. You're welcome, everyone. Are gars solitary?
Sometimes, but also it's yes and no. They actually are pretty gregarious, if you will, and so they do hang out in groups. They'll feed at the same time. They actually surface for air at about the same time in some cases. We call it synchronized breathing because it's evolved to, if it's safe enough for one gar to breathe air, then other gars see that and they will also go up for air. Arapaima and other air-breathing fishes do this as well. So they are actually pretty, social animals.
Nice.
So the opposite of solitary. How many gar would you expect to find in one place at one time? Like you're in a boat and look over the side.
When I visited, Blue Springs in Florida, my wife took me there on my 40th birthday. It's a place I called Garvana. There were gar as far as the eye could see. You could call it a Garfield, if you will. There were hundreds and hundreds of them just hanging out there. So they will just chill out. If you look up #GarLab or any of our stuff on Twitter, you'll see some of those videos. They will hang out in massive numbers, or maybe you just see one, on its own, solitary gar. But again, they're pretty social animals.
What is, and I have been trying to say this right, and I don't actually know either. What is the plural noun for a group of gar?
It's gar or gars, whether it's multiple species or single species. We like to joke that if it's a group of gar of the same species, it's a garrison. If it is multiple species, it's a garmada. And, that's just science and my puns.
That's just science. We have a gargle of gars, a garoop in the chat. We have a large garthering.
We're open to all kinds of names, really. So, this is just what we've settled on, but we are open. It's a democracy with this.
I have one more for you. In your tank, you said you have all 7 species. They're cool with each other. Do you have one of each, or what's going on in there?
So they are social animals, but I've been, working with gars for over 20 years. So we kind of keep them at different stages. Some are held over for my dissertation work. And so you've got to keep them at different ages, different sizes, and they're not going to get along forever. We've got ponds, we've got larger tanks that we can keep them in, but everything from the rarest of the gars, which is the Cuban gar, which is not a marine fish, so you can't call it the Cuban sea gar. But we also have one of the most commonly encountered ones, the long-nosed gar. But they all get along. I just try to, manage their behaviors like you would with a group of children or, a group of people in general.
And how do you do that? How do you intervene if they're doing something?
We keep them well fed, so they eat frozen shrimp. So, that like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Over the past week, I've eaten more Cinnamon Toast Crunch. They've eaten more shrimp, but really I've also eaten shrimp along with that for those of you that follow that controversy. But you make sure everybody gets fed at a regular basis, and they leave each other alone. So they're not going to eat each other, but it is it's like managing children. We've got 2 young children. They're asleep right now, but I've learned a lot by parenting these 7 and learning to parent the 2 that we've got of the human children.
I think that we should end with Sarah's pun. You are their guardian.
I appreciate that. I do my best, whether it's in captivity in a tank or whether it's in the wild. I try to, be the guardian of the gars as best as I can, and a garficate, if you will. So let's promote the conservation of these ancient fishes.
We broke Dustin.
Yes, we broke. Okay, so it is just about time for our I was about to say garlery. Shit, it's in my brain.
Yeah,
time for the gallery.
Let them out.
Of our dino of the day, our terror birds and our terror fish. This is much like, speaking of guardians, I want to put all these on my refrigerator. So, but we can't do that. So let's put them on the internet's refrigerator. So please share these online. The internet's refrigerator. That's Twitter. Put these on Instagram, Twitter, tag myself, Solomon, Kristina. We would love to reach these. So please hold up your drawings. We're going to go around. We're going to highlight and spotlight some of these. And once we do that, then we finally get to our final vote. So, hey, you guys, I don't know, maybe some of this art actually sways people one way or the other. Political cartoons have been known to do that. Get rid of everyone's...
I'm excited. Yes, please tag us. I will retweet it as well. So,
all right, here we go. Rachel Humphrey. Okay.
Nice.
Solomon, you can feel free to comment on any of these that you should see.
I mean, I'm just impressed with the skill here. I mean, it's
very good. You would just buckle up. All of these drawings are always, see, look at this. This is what I'm talking about.
Wow. Fish are friends, not food. This is very topical. Yep. Eating the anglerfish and the colors. I mean, the time and the skill here. This is great.
Yep.
Wow.
Nemo's
There's pink. People should be drinking. I mean, this is so biased too. I mean, I'm not going to fault Kristina like I normally might get on her, but obviously I will you, Dustin, because I mean, this is
Wait a minute. I just want to point out Ryan here has incorporated something I actually had a slide for that because I just want to make sure I cleared up any confusion should there be any. There's actually a type of fish that has the word terror in it. It is the green terror. Yeah. This little guy, not necessarily a terror fish, but I like that Ryan has chosen to have our Pharaosaurus eating that particular terror fish. Accuracy wins you so many points. Well done, sir.
It's impressive.
Oh, wow, this is great.
Wow, I like this. I like the even keeledness of this. Like, I need to see like who's doing all of these things. I want to like. Here I got Rebecca. I appreciate that. That's amazing.
You need to go back in time and use this image as promo for tonight. This is perfect.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
This can't be the only birds versus fish that Dino 101 ever does. This is
done.
Nemo bringing the blade. This is nice.
Oh, you're making us
equals drink.
Thank you, Michael.
We know Michael, age 52.
You know what birds can do that fish cannot do is wear a top hat. Let's go.
I'm pretty sure they don't do that though. Jason Mask for Terror. I like that. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
It has a tiny nose.
Janita, I already know that you went to the Team Bird side, so I mean, I feel like we're just not even friends anymore. That's okay. I appreciate that you did a Gar, but we're gonna have to have words after this. Murder Gar at least, so that's fine.
Ooh, this is great.
Ooh, I love the colors. This is that's amazing.
Ooh, this is like a superhero movie poster.
Yep.
The
Garvengers, if you will.
Yep.
We will.
Oh, the fishy food court.
I like this. This is great. Everyone's gonna get sick after this. You go to the food court, it's gonna be bad. It tastes good on the way in.
All they did was remove one eye from an anglerfish to make it a terror.
It's a cyclopsian anglerfish. It happens.
We have someone who has been baking their entry, and I know that you talked to them online about whether or not their brownies would be special. They're special because
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. A Gar brownie. I mean, geez.
Hannah does not quit.
Not messing.
The murder bird doesn't stand a chance. That murder bird's going to try to eat that Gar's eggs and it's going to die like a bird today does, or like the murder bird, which is already dead, obviously. So, you know, or terror bird, however you want to no matter what adjective you put into it, your theropod predecessors are gone. I love that. That's great. That's amazing. Thank you, Hannah.
Yeah, this is great, Hannah. It is Friday night. I'm upset that there's no Marigarna in that.
I mean, you know. And the Jurassic Park t-shirt. That's great. Nice. I'm I like
Terror bird is or Terrorfish is
Skipjack is gonna toss that terror bird over the edge. It looks like a flightless bird, I'm just gonna say. So, you know, I'm guessing you don't have to wait for the iceberg. That thing's going down.
Yeah, they are flightless, just like
nice. Bowfin wins. I love that. Titus, yes, of course. Great to see you, Titus. Yeah, I mean, it's that's just how it goes. Bowfin's gonna win no matter what.
All right, we've got a
dogfish world, so you know. Oh, Russ and Sir, this is my youngest sister and her husband Russ. This is amazing. Team Fish, nice, love it. Oh man, I mean, this is role reversal. It's gonna go badly. It's gonna go bad because the young Gars are also toxic to birds. The larvae are toxic as well. So it's not just the eggs. Larval Gars are toxic. That bird is done for.
All right, all right. We got another twofer here. You guys,
nice. John, I appreciate that. Oh, this is great. I love it. Like it looks like this is an eel here, and you know the other stuff is blobfish. Oh no.
Oh no.
I challenged the terror bird to go down to the blobfish's home range and watch that terror bird get squished into the size of an owl pellet, if you will. So you know,
you bring up a good point.
These are great. Love them.
You bring up a good point. People are always like, who would win, like T-Rex versus Megalodon? It's like the next question, regardless of what the two competitors are, it's like who's home, who's away. Like that is absolutely imperative for this question.
Yeah. It brings in physics, which none of us want to talk about. No one's talking about. This is amazing. I feel like we were told this was going to happen with this, you know, three-dimensional artwork, if you will. This is great.
Yep. We're gonna one of these days someone's gonna make a fucking butter sculpture.
I mean,
that looks like a sunfish or mola.
I love it.
So good.
The most modern fish versus, you know, whatever the terror bird is, which is obviously dead. So, Jojo, I love this. Yeah, anglerfish. It's saying something.
Come at me, bro.
Yeah, come at me, bro. I can see that. Yeah, the anglerfish could be saying the same thing. You know, again. It goes both ways. I love it. That's
terror birds have more of a "come at me, bro" attitude, I think, than an anglerfish too. I just feel like anglerfish don't even give a shit.
Are you serious? Anglerfish literally have that beacon saying "come at me, bro." I mean, that's
true. That's fair.
I think that is what the angler.
They have a homing device.
That is the whole point.
Literally.
All right. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Ooh.
The slime. You know, I love it and hate it at the same time. I feel like I'm in an art gallery being an asshole, judging Gar work, if you will. But you know, I'm gonna just imagine that that's a larval Gar and that terror bird's gonna be as dead as it is right now. This is amazing artwork. I love that.
Very good.
Fantastic.
Very good.
Nice. I like this needs captions. Somebody please tweet this so we can get captions on this.
These look like friends.
Yeah, it really does.
Oh.
I mean that is amazing. They've all been amazing so far. This is nice. I knew Stacy. You know, I've seen Stacy's work before. This is great. You know, that's I mean, you're just the terror bird can't hack it. That's fine.
Nope.
All right, Ariel. I love it. You know, the buzzsaw. I mean, that's just the end for the terror bird. I mean, there's literally a buzzsaw shark. So I mean, whether it's helicoprion or something else, like it's not going to work for the bird.
You know, I love a tooth whirl.
Yeah.
I also love a tooth whirl.
Yeah.
The shrieking.
Nice. The shrieking eel. This is amazing.
Is there a joke I'm missing here? I don't understand.
Where's Rocket's terror bird? We've got
Robin. I feel like the take-home message that the terror bird's drowning, so I feel like that's fine. And then they get along though, again, in a weird relationship. So,
babe, you're snoring.
There are fish that make noise. They're croakers and burpers and that sort of stuff. This is good. Wow, this is, I mean, Nick has got some, I mean, this is very graphic or garfic, as we oftentimes say, but you know, that lungfish, you know, the thing about lungfish is they've, you know, been around for 400 million years, whereas this terror bird is done, it's gone. So I like the graphic nature of this, as we would put into a garfic novel, if you will. So that's great.
Yeah,
Love it, Nick.
Oh, you guys, that was an incredibly good round. I'm excited about that. So we have a couple final orders of business before our vote. First and foremost, I want to mention that, listen, Dr. David, the Garzar, you are a god among men on Twitter, but I'm sorry, you can't hold a candle, neither can fish nor birds, to everyone's favorite murder bird on the internet, which is Sue the T-Rex. And I bring this up because Sue the T-Rex, Sue, the T-Rex on Twitter, is our guest next week for Dino 101. How is that going to work? Are they going to be in a voice modulation, like witness protection program type of dimly lit situation so no one knows who they are? You're going to have to come next week to find out. So next week on Dino 101, Sue the T-Rex. Do you have any final parting words, Solomon? Either just to, you know, say thanks for being here. Also, if you want like your final argument, state your case as to why, when we do this final vote, people should vote fish over birds.
I mean, I would say that my parting words are, I'm happy to be here. I know we've wanted to do this for some time. So it's so awesome to hang out with all of you during a time when social interaction has been so down. Like 2021 has not been as much improvement as we thought over 2020. So it's great to see everybody. Thank you for sharing your GART work and other stuff. It's just been so amazing. So please keep attending Dino 101. I look forward to attending when I can. Sue the T-Rex is my favorite dinosaur. Don't tell them I said that. Even though I did school them in an evolution debate on Twitter, you have to look back at it. So they lost. And you know, honestly, birds versus fish is about celebrating the biodiversity of both sides. There are very fine species on both sides and groups. So please continue to celebrate that and conserve biodiversity as much as you can and learn what you can. Tag us and all that sort of stuff. I hope to share all the stuff that you all have shared here. So I'm just grateful to be participating in all of this. So, I mean, I have nothing but, I was into dinosaurs before I was into any of this other stuff. So, I mean, even Gars, if you will. So, I mean, I do a lot to...
We're here because dinosaurs are a gateway drug to science. It's been an honor to be able to talk with you tonight. It's been like poultry in motion. Basically, this whole
it was so good, and then it got so bad, right? So fast.
It got really bad. I have no regrets. So, Kristina, are we ready to do this final poll? Do you have any final last words before we do this poll? I'm more nervous for this election than... That's not true. I'm nervous for this election.
I think the stakes are higher this time as far as effect on our daily lives. Yeah. Yes. Oh man, yeah. I can't wait to see how this turns out. I have a feeling about the way our audience is leaning, but I'm not going to try to tip it. Something I know our audience does love is a party. I would invite you to come to the after party that is not mandatory, but nothing good happens after GARC.
Once again, we do an after party after this. If you want to hang out, slide into my DMs on Instagram or Twitter. I'll send you the link. Again, it's not associated with Atlas Obscura. And yes, they make us say that. All right. I think it's time. You guys ready to do this?
I hope to see you all there at the after party. Or
after party.
I have to not beg, but I'm like, oh, if you want to come, cool, it's optional, but whatever. To most guest birds, you all week, you're like, yo, let's go after party. So I'm excited. We're going to nerd out even harder in the after party.
You stay longer than I do.
Yeah, possibly. Here we go. This is the final vote. The election is being held right now. And you, if you can hear my voice, are you voting Team Birds or Team Fish? Here we go. I am so nervous.
Last time we checked in, birds were back in the lead with a 55-45.
So close. Oh no.
Jeez.
Oh no.
We do currently have an odd number of people in the audience, so your vote does count. You can
it sounds like, I mean, this is interesting, Kristina. That's a lot of weigh-in.
96% voter turnout.
That's amazing.
You're hard out, America.
The two of you went to refill your wine. That is not the time.
Dinosaurs and animals. I mean, that's just how it goes.
Listen, I Can you guys see the results as they're coming in?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, our friends can hear. No, can you guys? No. So I want to let you know that there are 2 people who have not voted right now, and the difference is 2 votes.
You're appealing to voters now.
I'm not saying who's winning or not winning. I'm just letting you know that your vote, if you haven't voted, well, every vote matters. We got to call it 97% of the vote in.
I don't know if they're coming back.
Listen,
I think we do have to call it.
I think we have to call it. I'm about to share these results every week at Dino 101 is technically a celebration of birds. So I think it's fair that this week we're gonna give it to Team Fish.
This is somebody screenshot this or something like that. I gotta do it. So there's, this is amazing. It couldn't have gone, closer. I'm not the host here. I'm the guest. I'm gonna let these folks speak.
You are the winner.
You are the winner. We have a lot of fans in the chat congratulating you.
I mean, that is amazing. But I think in the end, everyone wins. You know why? Because evolutionarily speaking, birds may be dinosaurs. They are. We know that. But dinosaurs are all fish. So therefore, we're all on the same team, evolutionarily speaking. So therefore, birds or dinosaurs are fish. That's how it goes.
Sure. Listen, for unity, I'm with you, sir.
We'll do another episode where you walk us through exactly why that's true, because we'll need an hour.
Returning champion. All right, you guys, it is 10:23, which is exactly when we planned to end. Look at that. That's wild. How did we do that? That's amazing. Again, slide into my DMs, Instagram or Twitter if you want to come to the after party. Thank you, the Garzar, for being here. Congratulations to Team Fish for winning tonight. You may have won the battle. The war continues on forever.
I thought you said this is the one time to settle it all. That's what I heard, but I'm not going to hold you to that.
I appreciate that. Kristina, we'll see you as well in the after party, correct?
Maybe.
All right. Well, for now, I don't care if you're asking questions, searching for dinosaurs, or hunting for a buried treasure. Never stop digging. I love you guys, although I love dinosaurs even more. Thank you for coming. I'll see you in the after party, and we'll see you next week for Stu the T-Rex. Bye, everybody.